Alright, we're now going to be moving into the BO2 first half between FPX.ZQ Survivor versus HHDG's Hunter 兔子. So we can see that the Seer and the Priestess are the first two being bans, which are no surprise as meta character things. But the Aeroplanist is in global ban for Moonlit River Park, which is going to limit the effective choice for ZQ's team moving on. And you're going to be seeing why in a bit, as the first two selected are also going to enter the global ban, which FPX.ZQ has opted to choose two pretty, I'll say, controversial picks. You're gonna see it in a bit, but we're gonna be seeing the anti-Korean and the mercenary being selected. And the fact that those two are also entering global ban is going to limit the character pool from FPX.ZQ moving on severely. Because the mercenary, the anti-Korean, and the aeroplanist are all huge meta characters, but the fact that they're gone already means that moving into BO3, they won't have too many good choices for them. So we can see that FPX.ZQ's strategy or BP's strategy is leaning towards wanting to set up a solid foundation, choosing all the meta characters to score something good, which did not work for them in BO1. They selected Aeroplanist first right away, but they lost that match, which is going to be a disadvantage for them moving on. And actually we can see that Cheerleader has been banned for HHDG because we do know that ZQ likes to play Cheerleader in terms of their BP and stuff. So no surprises, and Barmick here is also a very good ban because here we can see that the anti-Korean and the mercenary are... The anti-Korean needs to heal, and also Moonlit River Park being a huge map, having someone that can long range heal or fast heal is good. So Barming being banned and Psychologist being selected. So actually this team comp here is pretty solid in terms of Mercenary, Patient, Psychologist, and Anti-Korean. But this also means that FPX.ZQ will be relying very, very much on this Anti-Korean because she is the only type of support that the FPX.ZQ really has in this game. So we're going to be waiting on the Hunter's pick, and I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about one hunter that's risen into this meta unexpectedly. For those of you who watch China IVL, you probably know, but honestly I did not expect this hunter to rise, because before we never heard of this hunter. They have been dubbed the strongest survivor, and it's the Gamekeeper. Actually, Gamekeeper has received quite a couple of buffs across the seasons, and people have now started to realize how good he is. Because the thing with Gamekeeper is that his hooks, especially in tier 2, he has infinite hooks as long as you hook them on an obstacle. This gives him a pretty high mobility. Also, he also has the traps, which gives him a very strong field control as well. So that's why he's also commonly seen in the top China meta, and why some people also ban him now. Gamekeeper is meta, everyone. This is a reality. Anyways, I'm gonna hop into the game straight away. Alright, we're going to be entering the BO2 first half between FPX.ZQ's Survivor and HHDG's Hunter 兔子here. We can see that right off the bat, the Gamekeeper has instantly closed in on the Psychologist, and that is exactly why Gamekeeper has entered meta. With his two hooks, and especially his hooks after he enters full presence, he can just move around so fast, making it very hard to close in, or rather to transition against him. And also the fact that the Psychologist being selected to spawn at the last stop did not work for FPX.ZQ, because that's exactly where the Hunter Gamekeeper chosen to spawn. So the map's pick here from FPX.ZQ is already not looking too good for him. And yep, Tu's gonna set up a trap, going to be blocking off the pallet areas here, giving FPX.ZQ Samsung here no choice. So yep, forced to take another hit here, and now he enters half health. So yeah, one thing to note is that Gamekeeper, before he's very weak, and he did receive a couple of buffs, but each buff he received is not that strong on its own, but adding it all together turned him into a completely different hunter here. as the psychologist ended up going down. And honestly, even though the psychologist did go down around 80 seconds, she did not make too much of a blunder. It was just like, this is not a good place for her to kite at, which added to the not that effective map selection. And actually, one thing to note with Gamekeeper is that now Gamekeeper doesn't necessarily try to hook survivors. Like, if they can hook survivors, great. But as long as you hook obstacles and give whoever is and manage to land a debuff on the survivor, then that's equivalent to using a hook. The thing is that if you ended up missing a hook, it's bad. But if you use an obstacle to get a debuff, then it's going to be a whole different story. So yep, the psychologist is gonna go down here, anti-core is gonna come, but excitement's gonna come into play. So honestly, I feel like HHDG's ban pick here also did very good. Like the fact that they selected excitement here to prevent the anti-Korean from attempting to harass is a very good choice, and able to chasing the psychologist down fast without any ability is also very good here. So yep, going to force the anti-Korean to come to rescue here, and the psychologist one chair from dead. Cypher not looking too good, but we can see the anti-Korean is going to be assisting here for a couple of times, which I feel like is not the best choice. Because here's the thing, as I talked about, the Cypher is around 2 done and 270%, but the psychologist is around one chair from dead. The Cyphers are far not enough. What are you trying to gain here from harassing? I guess the anti-Korean wanted to drag for time, but literally this is a half-health psychologist that does not have any items or kind of abilities. So by doing so, it's not going to exactly do much. By trying to harass, you end up going down, and if the psychologist cannot kite for good here, then the anti-Korean will also be chaired as well. So let's talk about here too. Here this may seem like a bad move, but Tuzi is just trying to predict flywheel there, so that's just unfortunate. But yeah, I feel like the anti-Korean coming to harass back there was not the best move, and coming to harass now is also not the best move, because the Cyphers are still far from enough. Yes, there's 170%, 140%, but literally all the last Cyphers are at the same side of the map, so the Cyphers are far from enough, and now the psychologist is gonna get chaired, get eliminated, and the anti-Korean is also going to get chaired. So this is actually a very dangerous move from the anti-Korean. So anyways, yeah, now anti-Korean gonna get chaired to the what considered to chair down at the basement. Realize that doesn't work, so chair back at the final stop. So actually, later we can notice is that hooks now, for those of you who want to play Gamekeeper, hooks now doesn't necessarily have to hook survivor. If you hook the obstacle and give them a lot of debuff, is equivalent to hooking them. But anyways, yep, the psychologist anti-Korean gonna get rescued, the patient's gonna slam, and they did not pop here because I believe the reason why they did not pop was because the anti-Korean is still at the same, has just left. Merc is at the Cypher. Had they popped just now, then it would take a while for them to get close. Had they popped just now, then it would take them around 30 seconds for someone to even remotely get close to the gate. And then the Gamekeeper have ample time to down this patient. The Gamekeeper now wants to hook to down this patient here. Patient wants to hook away, but yep, this ended up happening. Here the patient wanted to hook away, Gamekeeper wanted to down the patient with his hook, and he's able to body block. Yep. He's able to body block the patient's hook and then instantly hook him down, which is a beautiful, extremely very good move from Tuzi. Cypher was primed, but now they cannot pop it anymore, and this forced the mercenary to come and rescue. And honestly, at this point, this is a 3 to 4k game because this almost ensures that they're going to be relying on borrowed time to pull off the rescue, which gives the hunter a lot of chances. But we can see that unfortunately, Tuzi wanted to go out and cut the mercenary off, but it just doesn't work. Like this is a bad decision from Tutu's part, because the thing is that you cannot stop a mercenary from getting close to a chair, and also the thing is that he could have just stood by the chair and knocked him down, and then he also missed another hook here. So this is another like blunder from Tutu's part, because if he just stood by the chair, he definitely had more of a chance to try and like more of an opportunity to get a 3-4K. So yep, going to get a hook here, but unfortunately, like the moment Tutu made that misplay, it's going to it did like reduce his chance to 3-4K massively. So yep, going to force an elbow pad, going to chase Zibi, but Zibi still has one more hook to play with. But yeah, like that was a pretty good move here, as Tutu's gonna get close, and here all he has to do is to just like try and land debuffs, because like once you landed a lot of debuffs, then it's just equivalent to hook. So yep, down goes Zibi, and actually at this point we see that the gate has just been touched, and Shisuya is hanging around in the center, but Tutu here is gonna teleport, which I personally feel like is a bad move, because the thing is that unless you're gambling on the mercenary going to get to the gate, but in this caliber, there's no way the mercenary would get close to the gate because it's way too risky. And it's not, and the Gamekeeper is not like Opera Singer where you can instantly teleport. So that's a bit of a bad move from Tutu's part. So yeah, like he ended up, like what I feel like he should have done is to like go out. What I feel like he should have done here is to go out and try to find the mercenary. Like the same thing he did at the Opera Singer game in BO1. He should have tried to do the same thing here instead of teleporting, because unless you catch the mercenary, otherwise it's definitely going to be like a tie. So yep, there's going to be a tie, and there's actually an opportunity for Tutu to get a 3-4K for like 2 times. One time is when he could have knocked the mercenary down instead of going out and giving the merc a free rescue here. Hold on. Here. And the other is him, after downing the patient, he should have tried to find the mercenary rather than TPing, because survivors in this caliber will not do that at all. So for FPX.ZQ Survivor, like first of all, I feel like the spawn selection was a bit of a bad play, and also the anti-Korean coming in to harass despite the ciphers not being enough is also sort of a bad decision on their part. And finally, the patient here, yeah, like we have to applaud the Gamekeeper, but the patient here not finding an opportunity, like failing to like get a hook to grab distance and getting blocked, is also a major blunder on his part too. So yeah, actually, like as we talked about, as you notice, there are like three blunders that I feel like are pretty significant on FPX.ZQ's side. Like there's no one misplay that ruined a game, but there are a couple of misplays that are not minor at all, and all adding together resulting in a very poor result for them. Because remember, they grabbed the mercenary and anti-Korean into global ban as they probably wanted a free escape, but only achieving a tie, and the fact that they cannot select the meta characters moving into BO3 is like a huge oof for them. But I'm gonna take this opportunity to just talk about Gamekeeper. Like don't think, like guys, don't think that Gamekeeper is no longer meta. Like for those of you who are in the overseas, remember Gamekeeper is meta now with his high mobility and with his hooks, like his hook having a large range. If you think that Gamekeeper is still the same hunter back in a long time, then you're gonna get like surprised. So anyways, this is going to be the BO2 first half for for this matchup, and I'm gonna jump into the second half straight away, so see you in a bit, guys. Alright, we're back at the BO2 second half between HHDG's Survivor and FPX.ZQ's Hunter Dongshan. So, yep, we can see the Seer and Anti-Quern has been banned, and Dongshan actually choosing to let out the Priestess in Munich River Park, which is like pretty daring move because the Priestess is very strong in Munich, and normally like people don't release her in Munich unless for certain hunters like Breaking Wheel or maybe Geisha or just hunters with like fast teleporting skills. So this time, HHDG's Survivor chose the Priestess and the Aeroplanist, and them not choosing the Aeroplanist first in the first round, meaning they can choose it now, and the Fort has been selected after the Mercenary has been banned. So actually, if we look at this team comp, we can actually find that this team comp is like more solid comparing to the team comp from last round, and they have Barmaid to finish things up. Because like this team comp, they have the Priestess as like a heavy support, the Ford as a harasser, the Aeroplanist as like a safe rescuer, and the Barmaid as a support. So comparing to the like relatively like more kite oriented team comp from the last round, this team comp is actually like has more potential because they have harass, two types of support and a safe rescue. And comparing to the last round, they only had the Anti-Quern as a type of like harass. So here actually, if Gamekeeper is selected here, actually it would not be like that easy compared. Like Gamekeeper can be selected here, but it will not be like the team comp this round is not as good for a Gamekeeper as the last round because Aeroplanist can fly in the air and also like the forward harass. And the Priestess portals can also like give the Gamekeeper has so early round. Like I feel like this Priestess releasing the Priestess here in Munich is actually like a relatively, I would say, weird choice, but we are going to be seeing the Evil Reptilian has been selected because he like has received a buff. Like now you know at the tier 2 he can jump infinitely as long as he has energy. So the the Evil Reptilian against this team comp is playable, but still it will be hard because the Priestess supporting mid-chase can give an hassle, and even the Barmaid can also be hard to chase early game too because it is like easy for her to regen wines. So yep. The Evil Reptilian spawn like between the Barmaid and the Priestess. So anyways, I'm going to see you right into the game, so see you in a bit. Alright, right in the game we can see that the Evil Reptilian is aiming straight for the Barmaid, and I personally feel like aiming for the Priestess is a better choice because as I talked about just now, against an Evil Reptilian, Barmaid can like regen his wines, or regen her wines like easier, and also because Priestess support is just way too deadly, so I feel like it might be better to get rid of the root cause rather than letting the Priestess out and allowing her to like gen large portals across the map. So yep, the first hit is going to come relatively fast with the wine, but then like don't forget there's also the Ford. Like this is why I mentioned that it's easy for the Barmaid to regen the wines because the Ford exists, and the Ford is Xinghe, which is like famous for his Ford back then. Like here's the thing is that even though and yeah, like we can see that Barmaid is already like getting her second wine now. Yep, it's just like the Ford's gonna come into play, going to like bait for a bit, and a nice flywheel from Xinghe over there, evading capture. And yep, you can see the Barmaid already like genned her second wine during the chase. Like this is honestly like pretty bad for Dongshan looking because now like Barmaid is up and the Ford goes for a stun. So yeah, early game wise is the 2.5 ciphers in. It's not looking too good, and the 4 is actually using his football very effectively because like we can see that now it's a swap chase situation, which is actually like fine for both the survivors and the hunter because for the survivors 4 has a slow decoding anyway, and for the hunter it's only like 2.5 ciphers. So overall like things are looking like decent like I think it's like a 50-50 situation for both the four, like the survivors and the evil reptilian. So yeah, I'm gonna go down here. And now the aeroplanist is coming in, because this game we can see that the fort did not have Tide Turner, has been bought by the aeroplanist because of his safe rescue. Like, still being able to select the aeroplanist now is definitely working in favor for HHDG over here, as Dongshan is gonna go out to find the survivors but can't, and this actually is also like a pretty like serious blunder, as it allowed the aeroplanist to pull off a no damage rescue, which means that he can come to rescue later. So actually so far this is still a tie-ish game, because the 4 is the one harasser in this game, which now he does not have any football remaining, because like overall all the like plan for the survivors is like have the fort here to like force the survivors, or force the hunter rather, to swap chase. Yep, gonna go out trying to find the evil trying to find EGG here, but the aeroplanist is gonna instantly use the jetpack. So yeah, like we can see that now this is like not hitting the aeroplanist just now is like not working in favor for Dongshan here. So as we're decoding, we can see that that two survivors are rushing the cipher at the third stop, because like that cipher is going to be pretty important, because if they don't rush that cipher, then Dongshan can like potentially control, like stop them, potentially control, because especially the last ciphers are at the same side of the map, as we can see. Like, as we can see the last 3 ciphers are at the same side of the map. So if they don't rush that open, that cipher can be guarded, and then Dongshan can like slowly drag things over, especially considering the fact that Barmaid does not have any items, and the aeroplanist only had 1 jetpack remaining. Yeah, so the survivors had pretty good discipline in rushing the first stop open, and now because the last cipher is the one at the tent, and the tent is like a place where the evil reptilian can't exactly jump to, so this is actually working in favor. But we can see that like they're gonna send the aeroplanist to try to pop the last cipher in the tent, which is actually not the best move here, because the aeroplanist is 1 hit from dead. Like they should have sent, like here we see the aeroplanist is starting to decode, but I feel like they should not have done that. They should have sent the priestess here rather than the aeroplanist, and the priestess actually also made a misplay, as like he wanted to use a portal, place a portal in, but she accidentally portaled in the basement, and Dongshan's gonna teleport, but yeah, that's a massive blunder. Like if you're going to teleport, like then you should teleport the moment you saw the cipher shaking, as here Dongshan hesitated for way too long, and he just used up his trump card before endgame. Like if he just walked over there or like teleported earlier, then things are different, but he hesitated for way too long, and he ended up like completely wasting his trump card. Either he should have teleported the moment he saw shaking, or he should have just walked over there and saved up the trump card for endgame. But yeah. But I think even having the trump card doesn't really work in his favor, because the priestess portal also exists. So yeah, he should have just like teleported earlier, as he hesitated for way too long, and this ended in a tie. Like here it is like a relatively like 50-50 situation for both the survivors and the hunter, as the survivors did have some decent support with the fort, like the fort kited pretty well. For the hunter's side, he had a couple of chances, but he like Dongshan made 2 major blunders. The first one is just like wandering around randomly and allowing the aeroplanist to pull off a no damage rescue. And the second was the like ineffective usage of the trump card endgame. Like if he didn't use that, he still had an opportunity for like to try and get free to 4K, but the moment the moment that teleport blunder happened, it already resulted in like a 3 to 4k. And also the BP did not work in like FPX.ZQ's favor at all, because like they let out the priestess in Moonlit River Park. And also the other is that like HHDG still had the aeroplanist, which the FPX.ZQ already used up. Like, if we look back into this BP done at the BO2 first half, we're seeing the aeroplanist, the mercenary, and the antiquarian in the permabans, and this is like a very, very expensive global ban, because literally like a lot of strong meta characters are sitting there safely. So yeah, this is the BO2 second half. So far HHDG is like slightly ahead, and in terms of character wise, HHDG also has the lead here, because if we look at FPX.ZQ's global ban, there are some very significant characters sitting in permabans, while for HHDG it is like acceptable for them. Anyways, this is going to be the BO2 second half, and yeah, we can see that this is like a more 50-50-ish game, but things are gonna step up moving to the BO3 first half. So anyways, I'm gonna see you guys in the next game. See you in a bit, guys.